Are stovetop griddles worth buying, or are they just another bulky pan taking up space in your kitchen? And if you do get one, which brand is really the best? To answer these questions, I tested 6 of the highest rated griddles on the market, from $24 all the way up to $250. Besides cooking eggs, pancakes, fish, chicken, steak, sandwiches, and vegetables, I put each griddle through a series of controlled tests. I compared how fast and evenly they heat by preheating each one for 4 minutes on medium and measuring multiple areas of the pan with a thermal camera and a surface thermometer. I tested heat retention by heating them to exactly 400 degrees Fahrenheit, removing them from the stove, and measuring the surface temperature after 5 minutes. I checked for warping right out of the box, and again while heating them to 450 degrees. I even tested how hot the handles got after 10 minutes on medium heat. Besides all that, I compared key details like weight, thickness, handle design, and how easy they are to clean. In this video, I break down the pros and cons of each griddle. You'll find out which ones are worth buying and which ones have some deal-breaking flaws. I'll start with the least expensive option and end with the most expensive. This Nordic Ware griddle is made in the USA, it's aluminum with a ceramic nonstick coating, and it's the least expensive one I tested. It's also the lightest griddle and tied for the smallest. On the positive side, it heats faster than any other griddle I tested, and the nonstick surface is ideal for eggs. And since it's so lightweight, it's easy to clean and store. But there are some major downsides. Before I get into that, I want to quickly thank Uncommon Goods for sponsoring this video. If you're like me, you want gift ideas that actually feel thoughtful, not just the same old thing that you can find anywhere. And that's what I love about Uncommon Goods. It's a marketplace full of unique, handmade, and often customizable gifts from independent artists and small businesses. I was recently browsing their site and found a couple of things I really love. For kids, this USA coloring tablecloth is such a cool idea. It's a big map of the country that comes with washable markers, so kids can color on it, learn as they go, and then you can wash it and start over. For my fellow alumni, I went with these college cityscape glasses. Each one is etched with the campus and logo of your alma mater, which makes it a thoughtful and personal gift that feels different from anything you'd normally find. Whatever the occasion, Uncommon Goods makes it easy to find something original. And with every purchase, they give back $1 to a nonprofit you choose. Use the link in the video description to get 15% off your next gift at uncommongoods.com. All right, so I mentioned that this Nordic Ware griddle has some major downsides. The biggest issue is that it started flat, but it warped so badly in my tests that it wobbled and spun around on the stovetop. It also has the worst heat retention of the group, and the tiny handles get extremely hot. On top of all that, it's not compatible with induction. The Lodge cast iron griddle is made in the USA, and the surface comes pre-seasoned. It's reversible with a flat griddle on one side and a grill on the other. It's the thickest and heaviest griddle I tested, but the cooking surface is relatively small. The biggest advantages are durability and heat retention. Unlike the Nordic Ware griddle, there's no coating that can wear down. And because it's so thick, it stayed completely flat during my warping test. It also had the best heat retention of the group, which is important when you're cooking big batches of food. You don't want the griddle to lose too much heat as you add cold ingredients. You need a little oil or butter, but the pre-seasoned surface does a good job releasing food. On the negative side, it's by far the slowest griddle to heat, and it takes a long time to get hot enough for searing. My first attempt at smash burgers failed because I didn't preheat it long enough. The meat cooked through before the crust could form. It also reacts slowly when you adjust the burner, and cold spots where the griddle isn't directly over the heat source are unavoidable. The worst part is that it has no real handles, just small corner loops. Because of that, it feels like you're dropping a brick on a glass cooktop. Even when you lower it carefully, it lands hard enough that it seems like it could break the glass. I also tested Lodge's carbon steel griddle, which is made in the USA and comes pre-seasoned, but it has some key differences from the cast iron version. It's over 2 pounds lighter, it has sidewalls that contain food, the cooking surface is slightly larger, and it comes with real handles that are bigger and easier to hold. But unfortunately, this griddle has a major flaw. Out of the box, it didn't sit flat. And once I started heating it, the warping got worse to the point where it wobbled and shifted around. To be fair, Lodge does say on its website that it's not intended for smooth top stoves. And when I chatted with customer service, they admitted it might warp on a flat electric cooktop. But I wanted to test it anyway, since every other griddle is designed to work on both flat top and gas stoves. And the whole appeal of these griddles is being able to use them outside on a grill and inside on the stove. Beyond the warping, the overall build quality just isn't great. The cooking surface is rough, the handles get hot, and you can see seams in the corners where the metal was pressed together. None of these things are deal breakers on their own, but together they make the griddle feel cheap. The HexClad griddle is made of 3-ply stainless steel with HexClad's signature hybrid surface. The idea behind the hybrid surface is that your spatula glides along the raised stainless steel instead of scraping directly against the ceramic nonstick coating underneath. I stress tested it, and while the steel does provide some protection, there's still plenty of space between the ridges for the coating to get scratched. And like all nonstick coatings, this ceramic layer will wear down over time, not just from scratches, but from heat and repeated use. That said, while the coating lasts, the performance is excellent. Eggs slid right off and cleanup was easy. It also heated more evenly than the other griddles, with the smallest temperature difference between the hottest and coldest spots. I like the vertical handles too. The tops stay cool, although the stems closer to the pan do get hot. The two biggest downsides are price and warping. It costs more than twice as much as Lodge, even though it's made in Asia instead of the US, and in my testing, it warped slightly. The middle bowed upward, which caused oil to flow towards the edges. The made-in carbon steel griddle is made in Sweden. It's heavy with long handles, low walls, and a large cooking surface. The main advantages are versatility and durability. Unlike Nordic Ware and HexClad, it doesn't rely on a nonstick coating, so it should last a lifetime. And compared to Lodge cast iron, the handles make it much easier to move around and place gently on a cooktop. Compared to Lodge carbon steel, Made-in is thicker, smoother, and has no seams in the corners. Most importantly, it actually works on flat induction and electric cooktops. It's also a true workhorse outdoors. When I cooked a steak over a fire pit, the open flame got it piping hot and it seared the steak perfectly, and the baked-on oils only improved the seasoning. That said, it isn't perfect. It does warp slightly on a flat cooktop, just enough for the griddle to shift a bit when you're scraping it hard with a spatula. Sometimes you need to hold the handle to keep it steady, but it's not teetering and spinning like Lodge or Nordic Ware. The handles stay fairly cool, but they're flat and the edges aren't the most comfortable to grip. You have to be careful not to scratch your sink when cleaning. And since the handles stick out, the griddle won't fit in a 24-inch oven. The pre-seasoned carbon steel surface is slick enough for eggs, but it's not nearly as forgiving as a nonstick coating, especially since it's hard to keep heat perfectly even across such a large surface. Hestan is the most expensive griddle I tested, and it's also the largest. It's made of 3-ply stainless steel with tall sidewalls, flush rivets, and big vertical handles that stay cool. The cooking surface is big enough for 10 slices of bread, and it can even double as a roasting pan. In my testing, it took a while to heat, and any area not directly over a burner stayed much cooler. When I cracked eggs near the edges, the whites didn't set right away and just flowed toward the drip channel. Once fully preheated though, the sections over the burners performed well and were surprisingly non-stick for stainless steel. It also had the second best heat retention of the group. The main drawback is that while you're paying a premium for size, most cooktops can't heat the entire surface evenly. So even though it's huge, only part of the space cooks the way you'd expect. And when I used it outdoors over a fire pit, it couldn't handle the extreme heat the way carbon steel can. The steak cooked fine, but the stainless steel surface discolored and burned oil into the metal. Hestan says it's grill safe, but it's really an indoor griddle. Now that you've seen how each griddle performs, here are my recommendations. But first, I want to address the question, are stovetop griddles even worth it at all? The truth is, they're not essential for every kitchen. Because they span across multiple burners, none of them heat perfectly even. Hot and cold spots are just the nature of these pans. And performance really depends on your burner setup. If you've got a bridge burner that links 2 burners together, you'll get much better results than on a standard stove like mine. In a lot of cases, 1 large round pan or 2 smaller pans will be much easier to manage. That said, griddles do have their place. They can be really handy for big batches of pancakes, grilled sandwiches, or turning your outdoor grill into a flat top. With all that in mind, if you do plan on buying a griddle, My top pick for most people is Made In. It's incredibly durable and versatile. It works well on any cooktop and can handle extremely high heat. I also like Hestan and HexClad, but for different reasons. Hestan is huge, but you can use it as a roasting pan too. But you need to make sure it's preheated well to avoid cold spots on the sides. HexClad is the best option for eggs and other sticky foods, but the nonstick coating will eventually fail. Lodge cast iron works well on gas stoves and grills, but don't buy it if you have a flat cooktop, because it's difficult to safely put down and pick up. And I don't recommend Nordic Ware or Lodge carbon steel. The warping was so bad that they were both basically unusable. If you're ready to buy or just want to learn more, I've linked to all of these griddles in the video description. And if this video was helpful, you're going to want to check out this video where I review the best non-toxic cookware, or this video where I break down the best instant read thermometers. And for more videos like this, click the logo to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.